I love it when people comment on my videos and tell me how much I need to read the Bible. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's read it together. What if I told you that Jesus hid his true identity? What if I told you that Jesus is the Prince of Darkness? And what if I told you I could prove it? Let's read it together, come to a conclusion, and let's talk about it. This is Mark chapter 3. So let's look at this just a little bit. Now, Jesus had healed the man with the withered hand, and he had been healing quite a few folks. So let's pick it up with verse 9. Mark chapter 3, verse 9. Jesus asked his disciples to have a boat ready for him so that the crowd would not crush him. For he had healed many, so that all who had diseases were pressing forward to touch him. And when the unclean spirits saw him, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." But he warned them sternly not to make him known. Well, Mr. Jesus, you had been healing all kinds of folks, and now you're worried about the evil spirits making your true identity known? What are you hiding? Let's look at this just a little bit closer. Let's go to verse 12 in the Greek. And we're going to go down here and we're going to read, "And much he would rebuke them." This word rebuke, what does that mean really? What is Jesus doing in this verse? Let's click on it. Number 2008. The first definition is to honor. Jesus honored the evil spirits, to mete out due measure, to censor. He basically said, I honor you, be quiet, don't blow my cover, don't make my identity known. That is what he was saying. So now that we know that Jesus is hiding his true identity, let's look at it just a little bit deeper. In verse 22, and the scribes who had come down from Jerusalem were saying, now these scribes, they are learned people in the Torah. They knew the Old Testament. Verse 22, he is possessed by Beelzebul, and by the prince of demons, he drives out demons. So they called Jesus the prince of demons. After all, we know that Jesus is hiding his identity. We just read that. And now the scribes are outing who he really is and calling it like it is. Now this Beelzebul, what does that mean? Let's look at it. Let's go to the Greek. Beelzebul. Right here, number 954. Let's click on it. Beelzebul, the name of Satan. Ooh. So they basically called Jesus Satan. My. The name of Satan, the chief of evil spirits. Let's see. The word origin, Baal. They just called Jesus Baal. Can you imagine that? Baal of flies. Ooh-wee. So basically, they just called Jesus the Lord of the Flies. Beelzebul. They called him Baal. Now, where have we heard that one before? Has Jesus ever referred to himself as Baal? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Hosea chapter 2, verse 16. God is talking to the Israelites. Now, this is Jesus. After all, Jesus is God in the flesh, right? So this is Jesus talking. Verse 16. And in that day, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband, and no longer will you call me my Baal. Woo-wee! The scribes were right. Jesus is Baal in the flesh. In Exodus chapter 8, verse 21, even further that understanding, where God sends a swarm of flies on the Egyptians. Well, Beelzebul basically means Lord of the Flies, Baal. And if you believe that Jesus is God in the flesh, then it was Jesus, the one who sent the flies in the Old Testament. So the scribes in Mark chapter 3 knew what they were talking about. They told the truth. They outed Jesus's secret identity that he was so desperately trying to hide, and they told it like it is. Now it makes much more sense why Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. Now this is the revelation of Jesus Christ. The word revelation means the revealing or uncovering. So Jesus' identity has been hidden and covered all this time. And John, the one who wrote Revelations, actually, it's a revelation, he uncovered Jesus' true identity. He told it like it is. Jesus does hide his identity, and this is why the church has it wrong.